The more I'm seeing from Chrono Odyssey, the more hyped I'm getting. The developer introduced to gameplay, to reviews of content creators. The game overall looks absolutely amazing. The world is stunning. The boss fights look crazy, and the game has a lot of strong suits. However, there's also some concerns that I have regarding the game, and I think many of you guys have. But this is not a doom and gloom video where I'm gonna like roast the game. It's more of a feedback, and I want you guys to think of the things that I will be talking about in this video and take it with you till the next beta and then give feedback to the game. Because the good thing with the game not being launched yet is they can still fix things, they can still polish things, but there's definitely some concerns that we have to take a look at. So let's just jump into it. Now, the first thing that I have been noticing with the game and with the combat itself is the combat overall looks good. It looks really impactful the way you use your skills, and the weapon swap looks really good. So overall, the combat has been really nice so far. However, there's one thing we got to talk about, which is the close-up combat. From everything that I've seen so far and experienced, there is no proper zoom out. There's a little bit of, the only time we see like a zoom out thing is when there's like a picture or an area where you can see a lot of stuff, probably like a picture screen. You know how you guys go to an area and you explore it and it just zooms you out. But aside from that, every single combat that I've seen so far in the game, any type of movement, there hasn't been much of a zoom out, which in my opinion is not a good thing. I do like to be able to zoom out, especially in a game like this where there's potentially going to be some PvP happening too. You want to have a better or larger FOV. So not being able to zoom out is definitely going to be one of the biggest things that I'm going to be taking a look at. And I don't like being all close up to my character all the time. Sometimes when you're exploring and stuff, you want to see more of this massive world, because the world looks absolutely stunning and amazing. You want to know what's happening around you, especially when you're playing with teammates or doing dungeons or whatever. You want to kind of see where they are. So overall, I don't like the full close-upness. So hopefully, either if it's not implemented yet, we can get a little more of a zoom out, but the overall close-up combat or the close-up movement, I'm not too much of a fan of right now. So hopefully we'll see some changes to that going forward, or probably in the beta, maybe. The next up I want to talk about is the choppy animations. Now, there are some animations that definitely need some polishing. When it comes to the movement, I don't completely enjoy the way the character moves. When a character moves straight or left or right or try to strafe, the character looks a little wonky, a little choppy. When you jump around and you try to, like, you know, because there's like maze and puzzles in this game, you have to like double jump and move and get to certain places. The movement definitely looks a little bit choppy at times and doesn't look like the character is going where you want it to go. So there's been a little bit choppy animations regarding the mounts too, like trying to get on a mount or moving with a mount. It doesn't look really appealing. It definitely doesn't look polished. Now, this is a smaller type of change that I think they will definitely implement going into the launch, but I'm really hoping that it will do a little bit more work on the overall movement, the way you traverse around the world with a mount or without a mount, and because there's going to be a lot of terrain and stuff where you have to move around on. So they definitely need to fix a little bit of choppiness and hopefully polish the way you move a little bit more. Now, when it comes to since we're talking about like choppy animation stuff, we can just jump into the boss fights. Now, the boss fights look sick. Don't get me wrong, like that big, massive boss fights, they do different skills and stuff. But I've noticed when it comes to certain boss fights, it is a little bit of choppy animations. The boss moves at a different type of way. The animation doesn't look as good. When the boss jumps and stuff, it doesn't look as good. Definitely feels a little bit choppy. When there's many things happening at once, like if it's a boss that spawns a bunch of minions or mobs, there's FPS drops. So definitely some issues when it comes to overall just animations and stuff. But I think with a little bit of polishing, a little bit of work, this can look much better eventually. The other thing that I seen, what I noticed, especially when I saw the trailer and then more of the gameplay, and I think many people have mentioned this too, is the dark areas or the overall like brightness of the game. Now, I do get that you want to be kind of immersed in the game. Like sometimes they show you go into a dungeon and things light up and a monster appears, which is cool overall, but I don't like that the whole world is so dark. There's not much brightness to the areas that you explore. Very hard to see sometimes what's happening. So I'm really hoping that they change a little bit of the brightness, especially, or make it a little bit more vibrant or any type of way, but just not make it so dark everywhere you go, right? I do get they want that, you know, gory feel to the game, you know, the dark feel to the game, but sometimes depending on people's PCs too, people might not be able to see what is happening, right? So definitely need to work on overall brightness and stuff when it comes to the game, and hopefully more of brighter world at certain times, or even more vibrant maps would be, I think, a really good thing with the game. I mean, my opinion, personal opinion, I do enjoy more vibrant games like high saturations, a lot of color, but I do like the type of feel that they're going for, more of a dark theme to it, but a little more brightness and some changes would be really good, I think, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it. Now, the biggest thing that I am most nervous for when it comes to the game is it is supposed to be an open world MMORPG, which means many players. You're supposed to see many players, you're supposed to fight with many players, and this game has, for example, region bosses or field bosses. And in the dev interview too, he did mention that they don't want to do too much large scales during the PvP question or something, but it was a little mention of optimization. Like they don't want to, it's hard because the graphics are so good in the game, right? And it's really flashy, and game looks really good, but what happens when there's too much stuff happening in the game? And I think the game is definitely, from what I've seen so far, is not optimized for large scale anything. So my question is, what will happen during these region bosses if there's more than like your 6, 7, or 10 players, right? If there's 20 players or 30 players, are you gonna lag out? Are you gonna rubber band it everywhere? Are you gonna, because we've seen this with many games, right? Usually when there's a lot of players at one place, the optimization struggles a lot, and you start rubber banding, or your FPS drops like crazy. And I think from what I've seen in this game, and from the footage so far, is it will struggle with optimization. It will struggle during this massive boss fight. So I think that's going to be like a core thing, because you don't want to go and fight a region boss and then it's just unplayable, right? It's a really bad experience. And overall, it is a open world MMORPG, right? It is not like an Elden Ring game, even though it has some cool features, but overall it's going to be at certain places. Even though the game is trying to go for like a smaller scale style MMORPG, there's going to be times where you're going to meet a lot of players in cities or in areas, and if it's just really bad optimized, it's going to be really bad. So this is one of my biggest concerns, to be honest. Like, all the other things can kind of get fixed and stuff, but the overall optimization of the game and how well it works with many players at one place, I think is going to be really important, because in the future, if they want to do something else, right, if they want to add something, a new like open field boss or region boss, because usually when you play a game and you get to let's say you outgear everybody and everybody's at the same gear, and then they introduce a new region boss, everybody is going to be doing that new content, right? Everybody's going to go do those. So if there's a major update or whatever, and people come in, there's going to be a lot of focus or a lot of players around that new boss area, right? And it's going to create huge problems if the game is not optimized. If they add battlegrounds in the future or any kind of like PvP stuff, it's going to be a problem. So hopefully they will work on the optimization, but definitely one of the major things that I think is where the game is lacking the most, especially when the game looks so good, the graphics are so good. I do understand that it's going to struggle a little bit with many players there at once. Aside from that, when it comes to like overall like gameplay wise, because right now we talked like more about like the core of the game, animations and how it works, and the combat, all that stuff. But aside from that, just like gameplay wise or what is in the game, the main thing that I want to talk about is some of the features, because the game has a lot of things that you guys can do, right? You have bounty hunting, you have labyrinths, you have maze, all this stuff, solo dungeons and everything. What I'm really afraid of is they are saying that it's not going to be any kind of dailies, but some of the things in the game looks pretty repetitive, right? A lot of like labyrinths and the mazes, a certain type of dungeons, and I've seen a lot of content creators talk about that too, is some of them are pretty repetitive and it gets boring and it's not as fun anymore. So I don't understand exactly how they're gonna fix it, or because people probably have to do the content to get certain things. I think one of the more boring things actually gives you these gems or jewels or whatever that you put in your gear. So it's like a thing that you kind of have to do, but it is boring and it is repetitive. And in an MMORPG, some things have to be repetitive. It's just the way of MMORPG works. But as long as it doesn't feel like a boring daily and something you have to do all the time, I would especially appreciate that. But aside from that, it looks really fun. The game looks actually much better than I expected. And I'm gonna go in, of course, with a positive mindset. But overall, definitely some things to look out for when getting into the game. But I think we are getting a different version, a more improved version, because I don't think they would have let us play the beta that the content creators have played before. I think we're getting a newer version, hopefully a little bit more polished, with maybe some of the things that I mentioned already fixed. And last thing, I really hope there's going to be some type of mini map, please. Especially on the launch, maybe not now, but maybe on the launch. If people want a mini map, hopefully it's going to be a mini map. But overall, those are like my biggest concerns right now when it comes to the game. I think most of them can be fixed and polished, like the close-up combat with a little more zoom out would be really appreciated, a little more brightness around the world. The major thing, I think the most thing that I am afraid of that won't be properly fixed is the large scale stuff and the optimization around that. But let me know what you guys think. I guess except for Chrono Odyssey, which changes would you guys like to see? Let me know in the comments. And do you guys think that I made some points regarding the things I'm most concerned of? I would love to hear you guys' feedback, and if you guys give good feedback, I will take this to the developers or whatever, so the necessary people get the feedback. So hopefully we can get a really good and exciting game. I will be streaming every day during the beta if you guys want to tune in. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Check out this video right here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.